Locksmith to call? Well, if you don't already have a good one in mind, News Channel 5 investigates found you may end up with an unscrupulous locksmith who takes advantage of customers. As part of News Channel 5's commitment to keep you safe and sound, consumer investigator Jennifer Krause went to the state to find out why more isn't being done to stop this.
If you do this,
I've locked my keys in my car.
chances are you'll do this.
Is there any chance you could come?
But our undercover investigation found you never know who might show up when you call for help,
And you are? I'm the locksmith.
or what they might try to do.
How much is it going to cost?
Locksmiths we called gave us one price over the phone, but then tried to charge a lot more when they arrived.
Let's do 125. And this car should be like 160.
Our main focus was to protect the consumer.
Andy Phelps is a former president of the Middle Tennessee Locksmith Association who pushed last year to get a law passed that requires locksmiths be licensed. The law says locksmiths need to be trained, pass a test, and a criminal background check.
Is the state doing enough to protect consumers?
I don't think so.
Andy Phelps, who is a licensed locksmith, says this shows the law clearly isn't working.
You can do 110 plus the service call.
Plus the service cost?
Almost 150.
It tells me that they're not enforcing it.
Anytime you have that going on, that's just the type of thing that the licensing program is cracking down on.
But the state says it is trying to stop unlicensed locksmiths.
You're operating illegally in the state of Tennessee.
No comment.
Yet our investigation found that it's actually done very little. More than 50 complaints have been filed with the state since the program began last summer. Yet the state has only cited one company for operating without a license.
So you're with Dependable Locks?
Yeah.
And consumers have filed more complaints about Dependable Locks than any other company.
You quoted a price of $99, and then you suddenly raised the price even more?
Yet we found nothing seems to be stopping its employees
You're supposed to be in a marked car.
from continuing to violate the law.
And they're still operating. What do we do? What do you do?
Karen Anderson says she was a victim of this company recently when she locked her keys in her truck. The locksmiths, she says, tried to charge her $175.
I think the state should do a lot more to protect us there. Definitely.
The state insists it would do more, if only it could find these guys.
There just isn't the manpower to go out and say, I'm going to look up these 5 companies today and go out and check and see if they are licensed.
But we didn't have any trouble finding them.
Who are you with exactly?
123 locksmith?
All we did was a simple search on Google. We typed in Locksmith, Nashville, and we came up with a whole list of companies that are not licensed.
How hard would it be for your investigators to do that?
to do that, I mean, ideally in a perfect world, an investigator would have just that thing to do all day. It's not possible. It's not realistic, I mean, given the resources that you know, a state agency have to work with.
But Andy Phelps says that's no excuse, that if consumers are going to be protected, the state needs to do more.
That the lawmakers saw that there was a need for us to be licensed and to have the background checks, to have continuing education, but the state agencies that are overseeing this, you know, we're doing the best we can.
It turns out the state has only 15 investigators who work for nearly 24 regulatory boards, including the locksmiths, so they're stretched pretty thin. The state has proposed consent orders in 16 cases, but so far, no final agreement in any of them.
So, Jennifer, have they taken any action against the company Dependable Locksmiths?
No, the state hasn't, but other states have. In fact, last month, the Attorney General in Missouri sued Dependable Locks for fraud, deception, misrepresentation, and false advertising. And according to this complaint, the company is doing the same things there as we found them doing right here.
Hopefully folks will pay attention to this investigation, Jennifer. Thanks. If you'd like to find out whether or not if you've been ripped off by a locksmith, you can file a complaint with the state. Now, we've got a link to that site on ours at newschannel5.com. We also have a link that you can use to find out whether a locksmith is licensed within our state.